What grade do you have in your class right now? And who was your professor?
Dr. Staley.
Dr. Staley or Dr. Sullivan?
Dr. Sullivan.
How would you describe your professor?
She's mean, she's rude, disrespectful, unprofessional, and that lady.
So is it fair to say that you don't really like your professor?
I wouldn't say I don't like her, but just like all professors, they have problems.
So far, what have you learned in your forensics class?
I learned how the body works, different careers you can use in forensics, investigation skills, stuff like that.
And have you had any large projects or assignments so far this year in your forensics class?
Yeah, we had a paper and a PowerPoint.
And what did you write about for your paper, or what did you present about for your PowerPoint?
I presented about the forensics of the body.
Now, did you have to present your PowerPoint?
I didn't get a chance to.
Why didn't you present your PowerPoint?
Because the professor canceled class because she was sick. So I had to go another day, but I didn't get a chance to.
So was anybody scheduled to present on November 29th, 2016?
Ronnie, Jay, Eric, and Julian.
Did Julian's presentation, well, how did Julian's presentation go?
He didn't get a chance to go.
Why not?
He had to go back to his room to get his PowerPoint, but someone had to text him for him to come back because he was taking so long.
So when he came back, did he present?
Objection, Your Honor. The defense is leading the witness. Under Rule 611C, she cannot lead the witness on direct examination.
I will restate my question, Your Honor. What happened when Julian came back to the classroom?
When he came back, he handed the professor a paper. She gave it back to him. Then he ripped it up, threw it in her face, and left.
Okay, and were they exchanging any words at this time?
Yes, the professor was screaming at him, yelling at him, and just told him to get out.
How would you describe Dr. Sullivan's behavior towards Julian at this time?
It was rude. She was very, very aggressive. She was breathing heavy, so she was really mad.
Okay. And how would you describe Julian's behavior at this time?
He was cool, calm, collected.
Okay. What happened next?
After Julian left, the professor just started screaming. She told everybody to get out and that we would all receive zeros for that.
Did you hear from Julian after the incident in class that day?
Yes.
And how did you hear from him? Did you reach out to him or did he reach out to you?
He reached out to me as my best friend, so he called me and spilled the tea and stuff.
Okay. And what did you discuss with him when he spilled the tea? Or would you kindly elaborate on what spilled the tea means?
It means it told me how he felt about the situation, like what happened and stuff like that.
Okay. And what did you tell Julian when you spoke to him on the telephone?
I suggested that he do something nice for the professor.
What is your relationship to Julian?
That's my best friend.
And how long have you known him?
For 4 years.
And how would you, in your own words, describe Julian's character?
Honest, trustworthy, confident, sweet. He's a nice person.
No further questions of this witness, Your Honor.
May it please the court, can you remind me how long you've known Julian?
For 4 years.
Do you hang out with him regularly?
Yeah.
What do you like most about Julian?
He's funny.
You ever seen Julian angry before?
Only that day in the classroom.
Is Julian a violent person?
No, never.
Do you go to Julian's football game?
All the time.
Did you go to the homecoming game?
I sure was.
Did you see Julian hit the water girl over the head and knock her out cold with a water bottle?
No, I didn't see that.
Would you agree that forcefully hitting someone in the head with a water bottle is a violent act?
Yeah.
Do you agree that violent acts are done by violent people?
No.
No? What do you think of Professor Sullivan?
I think she's just all the way around a terrible professor. Terrible.
Did you and Julian share similar opinions on Professor?
Your Honor, I object.
Your Honor, I'll rephrase the question. Did you and Julian ever share your feelings with each other about the professor?
Yeah.
Were your views similar?
Yeah, pretty much.
So you also wanted to kill Professor
Your
Sullivan?
Honor, I object this witness is not on trial for attempted murder or murder today.
Sustained. Did you suggest Julian should apologize to the professor or kill him?
I suggested that he do something nice for her.
Why do you think your best friend tried to kill the professor?
My best friend didn't try to kill the professor.
Okay, question.
Your Honor, at this time, the defense would like to call the defendant, Julian Jones, to the witness stand.
You swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth to help you God?
May I please support? Could you please state your name for the court?
Julian Jones,
And how old are you, Julian?
22,
Where do you currently reside?
13 Palm Beach Drive.
And are you currently married?
Yes, but I'm seeking a divorce.
Do you have any children?
Yes.
What is your current occupation?
I'm a full-time student
Okay, and what school do you attend right now?
at Wesley College.
How long have you been a student at Westwood?
1.5 years.
And what is your major?
Law and justice.
When are you scheduled to graduate?
May 17.
And when you graduate, what degree will you have?
Bachelor of Science.
How many classes are you taking right now?
Currently one class.
And do you like this class?
It's pretty cool.
What's the name of your class?
Forensics.
And what have you learned so far in forensics?
It's about the human body and how it decomposes and, different tactics, in order to solve a crime.
Okay. And who is your professor?
Dr. Sullivan.
And do you like Dr. Sullivan?
I wouldn't say I like her, but I think she's, decent professor.
How would you describe your relationship with Dr. Sullivan?
We don't have a personal relationship, it's just strictly, business deal.
You said earlier that sometimes you fear for the safety of your child, correct?
Yeah.
And as a mother, if there's a perceived danger, you'd be willing to do anything to protect your child, correct? No matter what?
Yeah.
Does that protection extend to protection from his father if the situation ever arose?
If my child was in danger by the father, yes, that is the
You were angry at Julian on November 29th, correct?
Yeah.
And you also feared for your child's life,
Objection,
correct?
Your Honor. The same rule I cited earlier, 613, she's again misstated what my witnesses said earlier.
I apologize, Your Honor, I will restate the question. On November 29th, you feared for the safety of your child, correct?
Yeah.
And so you don't think that fearing for your child's safety involves his life?
No, I don't.
Why is that?
Because fearing for my child's safety has to do with everything we're protecting him, and I don't believe that Julian will harm our child's life.
So you think that Julian is capable of taking a life, just not your child's life, correct?
I believe if they're in danger by that person, then yes, but his own child, I wouldn't put that behind.
What's the difference?
The difference is that Dr. Sullivan clearly made him upset to believe that he could not have the best grade in the class. So him being upset basically made him feel as though he had to do something. Our child would never put him in that position or make him even think that this kid will murder him.
Not even when he's experiencing one of his fits of rage?
I don't believe he will harm his child.
No further questions of this witness, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I would like to call Dr. Staley to the stand.
You swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
May it please the court. Please state your name for the record.
Holly Stanley.
Where do you work, Dr. Staley?
I currently work at Bayham.
How long have you worked there?
3 years.
What do you do at the hospital?
I observe the toxicology levels of patients at the hospital.
How many toxicology reports have you done in your years at the hospital?
Over 100.
Did you analyze the toxicology report for the victim, Dr. Sullivan?
Yes, I did.
What did you find in the test results?
I found various chemicals that are in that food.
Your Honor, I would like to submit as evidence the toxicology report that Moni prepared for Dr. Sullivan. May I approach the witness and hand it to him? Thank you. Dr. Staley, what were the chemicals found in Dr. Sullivan's system that made her sick?
The chemicals that were found were classical and formophyllin.
What do these chemicals do to someone's body?
They destroy the lining of the stomach and the intestines.
So how would you say these chemicals got into Dr.
Your Honor, I
Sullivan?
object. Although she's an expert on the topic of rat poison, she was not present when Dr. Sullivan consumed the cupcake, so she cannot testify to how it got into her system.
Your Honor, under Rule 705, the expert witness may testify to her opinion and give reasons before testifying to the underlying facts for those reasons. If you will allow my questioning to continue, these facts that allow Dr. Staley to infer the consumption of the cupcake as the route that the poison was administered will be established by the expert. Overruled. Dr. Staley, did you analyze the cupcake found with Dr. Sullivan?
Yes, I did.
What was in the cupcake?
Chlorothalonil, bromophylline, and phosphorus.
So how did these chemicals that you said were in the cupcake and in her get into her body?
It's possible through the making of the cupcake, but when observing like the cupcake itself, the remaining of the cupcake, the poisons were found in it.
Are these chemicals available to the general public?
No.
They're not. So what does this combination of chemicals make?
Rat poison.
Rat poison, so the rat poison is available to the general public?
Yeah.
Okay. Is the composition of rat poison similar to, say, flour or butter
Your Honor,
or
I
eggs?
object. He's leading the witness, and the comparison of rat poison to baking powder or flour is irrelevant.
I'm trying to establish the difficulty in mistaking rat poison for a baking ingredient to show that the cupcakes were deliberately baked by the defendant with rat poison.
Your Honor, Dr. Staley is the only expert witness present today in court, and although it may be easy for her to distinguish between rat poison and flour, it may not be so easy for a lay witness to distinguish between the two.
Thank you for that.
Dr. Staley, in your expert opinion, was the cupcake the cause of Dr. Sullivan's near death?
Yes.
Thank you. No further questions.
Please support. Dr. Staley, you said you worked at Bay Health for 3 years, correct?
Yes.
And you stated earlier that you worked on about 100 toxicology reports in your time at Bay Health?
Yes.
So, I mean, which was the ballpark, it maybe say 150, since you're not completely sure as to how many toxicology reports you filed?
That's right. Okay.
Have you worked anywhere else in the last 3 years?
Yes, I have.
Where else have you worked?
I worked at Seattle Grace Hospital and I worked at Grace.
And while you were working here, were they, did you work at these hospitals at the same time that you were at Bay Health, or?
No, different times.
So why didn't you discuss your time at the other two hospitals during your direct examination?
Objection, Your Honor. Under Rule 4, this is a waste of time. The disclosure of employment at other hospitals by the witness is irrelevant to establishing the credibility as an expert witness. The defense this is a pointless line of questioning.
Your Honor, on her direct examination, the witness testified that she had worked at Bay Health for 3 years, but now on her cross-examination, she's actually testifying that she has in fact worked at 3 different hospitals in the last 3 years. And in fact, at this time, I would like to move to impeach Dr. Staley under Rule 607 of the Federal Rules of Evidence because she's giving the court misinformation.
Objection, Your Honor. Under Rule 613, prior statements of witnesses, this impeachment is, she cannot impeach my witness. Evidence of a prior inconsistent statement made by the witness is not admissible unless the witness is afforded the opportunity to explain the inconsistency. My line of questioning allowed her to omit the fact that she had worked at the other hospitals previously. An admission of her other employment does not discredit her as an expert.
The impeachment is overruled. I'll allow this line of questioning, but choose your questions wisely.
Okay, so Dr. Staley, why didn't you discuss your time at the other 2 hospitals earlier during your direct examination?
I didn't feel it was relevant because you're asking me about a case that I worked on, hospital that I can't work at.
So why didn't you think that it was relevant that you should have told the court that she's been at 2 other hospitals in the last 3 years?
Because the current case is for Bay Health and the other 2, the cases are for those 2 hospitals. For that.
You also said earlier that rat poison is not available to the general public, correct?
Yes, I did.
So how would someone come into...
Your Honor, I object. That's a misstatement of what my witness said. The witness said that rat poison was available to the general public, but the chemicals themselves were not available to the general public.
Your Honor, the chemicals in rat poison